Hello everybody, so this video is entitled MSTR stock big stretch because Stretch had a major success last week. Stretch raised a lot of money in a very short amount of time last week, and we're going to talk about that. Strategy today announcing that they bought 4,871 Bitcoin buy. That's a lot, not as much as it could have been, but this buy is very interesting because of Stretch. So let's talk about it. So in the 8K, and of course it looks weird, that's because of the end of a quarter where they literally have like a 2-day period like this. They ended on the 31st, and then they moved from April 1 to April 5th, which is barely any trading days either, because of Friday that was closed. Anyways, the point is he was able to raise, so that's only one day, right? That would only be the 31, because on the 30th the market was really bad. So in one day, on the 31st, he raised 227 million in Stretch in a single day. That is huge. And then, of course, Stretch also performed well in the next few days, on Thursday and on Thursday and Wednesday, and he raised 102 million. But this is where it gets interesting. So if you add 102.6, by the way, so if you round it up, add those two, you see Stretch raised roughly $330 million. $330 million at 67,700 per Bitcoin. That's 4,874 Bitcoin. 4,874 Bitcoin. Remove some miscellaneous fees, and what do you get? You get the same number. So that buy, 4,871, is equal roughly to the Stretch ATM for the past week of 4,874 Bitcoin, roughly, more or less, of 330 million. So what does that tell you? That tells you that we have a hard time estimating live how much money he actually raises on Stretch. So you can see Stretch.live here had assumed for the same period, it had assumed 1,821. So there is a little update here that needs to be done, and I think it's because Stretch.live, they say they assume 50% of the volume or something like that. We need to dig into that calculation a little more, because this is a major delta between 1,800 BTC here and 4,800 BTC in the 8K. Now, kudos to Stretch.live. That's just an epic thing to display on a screen all day. I love that website absolutely very much. Thank you to the team for making that website. It's still great. I love the website, but I'm saying, like, we are now way off, and so you can see when I see Stretch.live do well, I'm gonna be super happy, because actually Stretch, the actual Stretch ATM does much more, and that's what 2.5 times more in reality. So that's pretty crazy. So enormous day for Stretch today and last week, of course. So, but you know what's not good? What's not good is the 72 million and 72 million. So 144 million from the MSTR common ATM. That is not very good, especially last week, when we very much outperformed Bitcoin, because last week Bitcoin was up 0.5% on IBIT, and Strategy was down 8%. So the market, and forgive me more the language here, but the market has been epically brutal to the MSTR common last week. Like, I thought the MSTR common last week was selling off because of the ATM. Clearly, that's not the case. I mean, he has not sold into weakness last week. When you see he only did 144 million in total common ATM, clearly last week Saylor was not selling into the weakness. That weakness was, market makers doing their thing. The market was not kind at all to MSTR last week, but the market was oh so kind to Stretch last week, as evidenced by the outperformance in fundraising of Stretch. So in these crazy times of volatility, the market seems to be absolutely loving Stretch. There's an enormous market fit for Stretch, but it doesn't seem to be loving MSTR at all. And so we'll see if that changes this week, as there is some optimism for a ceasefire that I saw as I'm waking up. I didn't start reading this news because geopolitics don't interest me. So I feel just very much an annoyance to this whole market, and I don't like that at all. But it seems like there's some good news. And of course, a lot of the fear accounts are very upset. They're saying, it's not true, it's not going to happen. Because they sell fear, right? That's how they make money. You make money by making everybody believe the world is going to zero. That's what you do. But anyways, I'm hopeful for a good week. I'm hopeful for a very good week. And hopefully we see actual equities recover. But that past week was the week of debt and the week of preferreds, and it did very well. Talking about Bitcoin actually, 4 hours ago, Bitcoin broke 70,000. So that's worth a celebration right there, right here. Now Bitcoin is at 69,400. It's pleasing. It's a good price. I like it. I mean, given everything that's going on, I think Bitcoin is holding up so well. Fear and greed is 37. We're still in the fear territory, but look, if you zoom in on the chart, we're at a 37. We are at 40 and beyond. We'll be in neutral. It looks like we're breaking in neutral. If this trend continues, we're going to break back into neutral. And hopefully it can last this time. Hopefully we can actually stay in neutral and enter some form of price discovery for Bitcoin. As Saylor said in his tweet 2 days ago, it's the flows that are going to determine the value of Bitcoin. And as soon as this market madness ends, as soon as this macro madness ends, which it's been going on for far too long, but as soon as it ends, I think the market will start valuing hard asset at their true value. And of course, the true value of Bitcoin, in my view, is much higher at 69,000. I think the market is just being brutal to so many assets, by the way, not just BTC, so many assets. The market is treating brutally right now. Anyways, last point I wanted to make. I saw this yesterday, so I saved those screenshots. Saylor is actually spending money on X, on ads. Like you can see, ad on the corner, ad. This is an actual X ad. And Saylor spent this on me, apparently. So thank you, Saylor, for spending money on this ad for Stretch. But there is no need to, because I'm already sold. I'm already pretty sold. I like the product a lot. I think I like the preferred a lot. I think it's great. So I'm already sold. So hopefully you don't have too many strategy fans getting these ads, because otherwise that's kind of a waste of money, right? So hopefully it's not the strategy fans who get these ads. Hopefully the people who get these ads are like TradFi folks, TradFi people, which is obviously not me, but I got the ad anyway. So and by the way, for those who criticize these ads, really briefly, these AI ads, just know that this is the worst they're ever going to be. Right, we're going to get much better. And I also see a future in the future of advertising. I see a future where ads are customized. Right, you could have hundreds of versions of a different ad that fits a different profile and that is more compelling to each profile. So these ads will be customized by AI, and they could even be so custom that you could have one customer or one ad at one point. Right, one advertisement, one X account at one point. That's how custom these could get. So anyways, if you criticize the AI ad, just know it's the worst it's going to be. I'm glad to see the ads, but it shouldn't be targeting me. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me next. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.